Solomon Davis, Right Side Trader. Today is January 6, 2024, and it's my weekly market review, where I'm reviewing the NASDAQ 100, that's QQQ, on a quarterly chart, monthly chart, weekly chart, and a daily chart. This is all for educational purposes only. As we all know, trading is risky. You can lose money at trading. So please check with your financial advisor. Please check with your significant other and make sure trading is something that is suitable for you. All right, first one of the year. So let me just give you a quick overview. Quarterly chart. It's just going to be playing with yearly pivots. My monthly chart is going to have a 10 moving average. What that 10 moving average is used for is to tell us when the market is bearish or bullish, technically, the way some people look at it. If the market is below the 10, it is bearish. If the market is above the 10, it is bullish. Also, the pivots are on this chart that I have are quarterly pivots. And then on my weekly chart, I have a 200 and a 50 moving average. I like the 200, you hear on the news, again, I got the 250 moving average, mainly because on the news you hear them talking about the 250. What time frame are they on? Number one, are they on a yearly time frame? Are they on a quarterly time frame? Are they on a monthly time frame? Are they on a weekly time frame? Are they on a daily time frame? And when they're talking about these moving averages, you need to know that. And when you try to review things and look at things, what I like having it on is a weekly chart. I do this on all the videos too. I guess go over this because I think the weekly pictures gives us that enough of a heads up, you know, what the market is doing, and you should. One of the things that I go over definitely with my people, and when I'm training them and getting them to learn how to look at the market and how to see the market, is find what indicator or what time frame, what things match up best. And I just have to just leave it at that. You know, you have to learn how to adjust things. And the weekly time frame for me, for what I'm doing here, you know, it is good. Because, I don't want to it looks pretty busy as it is already. I don't want it to look too much more busier than what it already is. All right, so again, the pivots that are on the weekly chart is monthly pivots. And like I said, a 50 and a 200 moving average. Then on the daily thing, you have weekly pivots, nothing else. Go purely candles. And I'm going to that because one guy I talked with, and he called me the candle man. And I know another guy a couple guys that I talked with, they're talking about you look at candles. I said, nah, candles is kind of like that. To me, candles is that leading indicator. Price is king, number one. Price is the only truth that's out there. You know, it's hard to get people to believe that. But when the money has printed, that's the only thing that's real. You know, all the other news and all the other stuff that you hear, all the other things, it's people's opinion, and that's okay. You know, some people are very smart. They can have their own opinion, but what's really happening, you see it on the chart. So, and that's what I was talking to a couple of guys. We was talking about that. I said, yeah, so that's why price is king. First of all, learn to understand candles and candle price and how pricing works and stuff. That's very, very important in my opinion. Again, my opinion and all. But then there's other indicators that you can throw on your charts. And just like I have other indicators on some of these other charts to help you see what's happening, to help you with your entries and exits, you know. And that's all I really want to, that's the first part that I just really want to go over. Now with the review, I'm going to go ahead and jump on into that. Let me maximize this chart. And let me size it down a little bit. Boom, boom, boom. But right here, I guess probably would be good. I think that's where I have it. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And what we see in here on QQQ, the NASDAQ 100 on the quarterly chart, is a bearish-looking harami beginning to form near a top. A bearish harami. Again, I will this week post those books out there and the description about candle patterns, and one of the other books that I think as a trader, you should read. If you've already been trading, this book will be really good for you. If you're just beginning to trade, this will give you an insight of the mindset of a trader. It is called Trading in the Zone by Mike Douglas. I think it's Mike Douglas' name. It's a very, very good book in my opinion. He has a couple other books out there. The Disciplined Trader, that was one of his first books. That book you should also. I've read that book too, and I always go with Trading in the Zone as the first book, mainly because it has some exercise things in it, and it has some things in it. And it gives you really a pretty good insight, of the mindset of a trader, in my opinion. All right, now to the charts. We're above pivot. So again, I think this will be an up year. Right now at the beginning of the year, when we look at the lower time frames, you will see that we was kind of expecting a pullback. The market needed to do a pullback. I believe I said that in my last video on the Qs. The Qs were beginning to get a little extended, although I said it could go a little bit further, but we was also, on the other pictures, it was kind of like first of the year, what's going to happen here? We have made all-time highs. Some people like taking profit on their trades and all. And that's what they do at these points. So that's what I see here on the quarterly chart, that we can continue to pull back a little bit more here in this first quarter before we actually reverse and go in the other direction. You will see that on the lower time frames. And let's go down to the monthly time frame and see what we see there. Okay, on the monthly time frame, again, here on this monthly time frame, you are seeing again that bearish harami at the top at the right location. You just haven't got the confirmation type candle to see if this thing is going to continue down. As I say, it can continue down to this pivot and give us a bounce. It can continue down to this 10 moving average and give us a bounce, but it's highly likely that it may continue down. But it is at a point right now, where it can bounce. That's the whole thing. Anything and everything can happen in the market at any time. That's why you just kind of like you trade your plan and you plan your trade and you trade your plan, based on what you are seeing and based on your indicators and based on what you are seeing in the market at this time. But let's go ahead and go down to the weekly chart and see what we see there. And boom, and zoom in a little bit here. This is all we really need to see. See, the thing is, on this week, I know I had pointed out with the all-time highs, made a doji. That is a topping pattern. We got confirmation of that topping pattern going to the downside. And we are forming a ugly-looking evening star. And any evening star is ugly, in my opinion, since I'm not a bearish type trader. As I told one of my friends at the beginning of the week, I said I'm going to be sitting out. I knew what we had last week. I said I'm going to be just sitting out of the market this week. I'll look at it come Monday, this Monday coming, and then see what I want to do at that time. I did have a couple long positions on. One of them I had to get out of it. I got out of it. I didn't still get out of it right away. I didn't get out of it until Wednesday, because again, you kind of like, you still, okay, what is this thing going to do? Then it ends up breaking a few of your levels where you expect it to go, and it's just follow your plan. Get out. Your plan say get out, get out. So that's what had happened on that. But as we can see, we are getting this pattern right now at a top. Boom, boom, boom. And some traders are looking for is confirmation. Some traders already see that we're below pivot. The thing is, where we come all the way down to an R1, down into this level right here where the market kind of based at before it rallied back up. It can come down here and maybe find some demand at a demand level here. This is a small demand level where the market shot out of here. So the market can come here, and then it's lining up with a support 1 level. So that can happen. But as we say, anything can always happen in the market. But this is what I'm seeing right now. We do have a nice gap up here at the top, so I do expect this thing to turn around at some point and go back up to the upside, and then we start making higher highs. Right now, we are making lower highs and lower lows, and we're going to have to see how that continues. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at that on the daily chart and see what we see there and wrap this on up. On the daily chart, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was this week. Last week, we were at a top. We made all-time highs, and then we turned red. People are taking profits. Some traders actually trade. The professionals trade. If you want to trade like a professional, learn to take profits at tops and all. You don't know. Again, when you see everybody else selling, it's time for you to sell. No trade recommendation. It's just learn to trade what you see if you are profitable. As I've been saying the whole while, it was no time to be going long. Was it time to start shorting? I don't know. But once you had got another evening star on a lower time frame and you got a gap down confirmation, you probably was late to the party. It's all according to what your trading plan tells you to do, or maybe on that day once you got below, the way I set up, as you can see, the way I have my charts and the way I have my pivot set up, I can see I'm going to be below next week's pivot. I could see on Friday, maybe it's time for me to get short. I'm going to be opening up next week below pivot. This market should continue down based on some of my basic rules and based on some of my basic studies that I have done around pivots years ago. My friend told me I should verify those rules and things again. But as we look at things and as we see things, it seems to still work, although we haven't ran the data again here in over 10 years, to verify that it actually really still works, to let you know that. But back here, it did this week. We opened below pivot, and we stayed below pivot. We actually went below a support 3. This market really, really sold off based on the pivot lines here and all. But let me zoom in a little bit. The thing is, it came down here and filled that. Probably last week I was looking at gaps. I was kind of looking at this gap right here. And this gap, this is what I think I remember me saying, my cousin gap. I won't call names anymore. I just say cousin gap and all. And it came down here and filled this gap. It actually went a bit lower than what I expected. But right now on the daily chart, we are looking like we are hitting a bottom. But and one of my friends I was talking, I said I was expecting it to get below 400, somewhere below 400, and then reverse back up a little bit, and then maybe continue down if it's going to continue down. Plus, I'm really still looking at this thing going somewhere, looking at a daily picture. Let me just back up a little bit. This is this other gap way down here that we're going to look at some. And if you look at some of the other indexes, they actually close some of these big gaps. And these big gaps was created, I believe, on the future contract expiration and stuff that was happening around that time frame. These huge gaps were created and all. But that's it. That's all I really want to share. I'm just saying that it looks like the market is taking a rest, but it still definitely can come down lower to a 390 level. And if it gets down to that low, I wouldn't be surprised if it came all the way back down below a 380 level and all, and actually try to close this gap. And then look below. You still have lower gaps down here. And then you got my point, my resistance, my price level where I was looking for the breakout for this thing to go break out and actually start running for this old time high. It can actually come all the way back down to this level here and test this level before it actually ends up going back higher. And if that happens, that can get us into what some people are going to start crying about, a bear market. But we have to just, again, go back to our monthly charts and see if we are below the 10 at that time or we're above the 10 at that time. But right now, trade your plan to trade. That's all I really need to say at this time. Definitely have, if you were long at any time, catching this rally to the upside. If you're not stopped out, be very patient about jumping back into the market. Jump into the market only if your trading plan tells you so. Don't jump the gun. All right, this is Solomon, Right Side Trader. Hope this is being helpful. Hope you guys had a happy New Year. And let's get going. Talk to you later. Bye.